For this video, we're going to take a look at this diorama that I made with my son that we are calling When the Fairy Came to Class.
Ta-da!
Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming. What you see before you now is a diorama that I made with my 8-year-old son in response to an awesome idea by his teacher. Now his teacher, before the first day of class, introduced a new character that would be joining the classroom, a little fairy that would enter the room through the back in a little door up on the wall. Now the fairy's purpose is to come and to reward the students for good behavior, for treating one another well, for giving one another good compliments, and the fairy was going to leave little notes to the students and tell them thank you for all of your good behavior. Now, my son and I got inspired by this idea, the creativity of it, and we decided, wouldn't it be fun if the fairy not only had a door to come in and visit the class, but the fairy actually had its own chair, desk, lamp, plants, paper, writing utensils, books, everything that a fairy would need in order to be a part of the classroom. So we decided to go ahead and make this diorama. Now, I'm going to show you the individual parts of the diorama and how we constructed them, and give you an overview of the final product when we were done. The base of the diorama is just a thick piece of 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter wood that is very flat and very sturdy, on which we were able to now begin to build our floor. For the floor, we used my standard technique. The first thing we did was glue down popsicle sticks with a glue gun, and we made the popsicle sticks various lengths, breaking them off with the pliers. Now, once we had glued all of them down on the entire board, we went over the entire thing with this dark brown color. Once that dried, we put about, I think, 2 or 3 layers on. Once that dried, then we did the standard dry brushing that I usually do to get this wood effect, and that is first we go over it with a gray light dry brush. You can see here some of the grays here, and when the grays are finished, we go over then with an ochre yellow, so you can see the yellow kind of popping here on the edges. But I like the gray and the yellow ochre combination. It gives the wood a very nice aged feel. For our throw rug, we found this really nice piece of cloth, or almost like a piece of canvas. We cut it to the right shape and used super glue on the edges so that the edges would fray. Then we just glued the whole thing down with white glue, where it is now stuck very firmly to the wood. For our edging here, we used stirring sticks, coffee stirring sticks from a fast food chain that we will not name. And then in each of the 4 corners, we put these little tufts of grass from Army Painter, just to give it a little accent and a little more interesting detail. Before we take a look at the table and all of the interesting items on it, we can first look at the couple items on the floor and the chair. The first item on the floor here is this large potter with a plant in it. The plant is simply a little plastic piece from IKEA that we dry brushed with some bright yellow to give it a little more definition. We've left this part right here, the natural wood. Now this is in fact a candle holder for very small candles that you would usually have on, say, a Christmas decoration. Now we filled this up with white glue and put our plant in there and added a bunch of sand around it to give it that nice rough effect on the top. On the floor here, you see our backpack. Now what we did here was we took some jeans material and we just sewed a little bit of a bag and added some very small stones to give it some definition. Then once we were done with that, we cut off some of this red cloth and just draped it over the top. A little red piece in the middle. We painted a little piece of wood silver and set that in the middle of the cloth, looking like something of a clasp. The chair is a very simple construction. It's made mostly of popsicle sticks, although we do have some of these stirring sticks around the side for accents. If you look at the legs, we made these out of chopsticks that we cut into small pieces. And then up on the top here, we have 2 normal popsicle sticks, and then we have something of like a Magnum ice cream stick in the middle. I really like the angle, and I like the curves. It gives us just the right kind of fairy feel. The brown for both the chair and the table are a bit lighter than the floor. Now, I initially began with the same dark brown, but then after that, I put a second coat of a lighter Savannah brown on top of that, and then I dry brushed simply with the ochre to make it pop. So you get a lighter feel, which really makes the chair and the table stand out from the floor. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the items on top of the desk. These items are really fun to make. If you look up here on the left, you see that there is this little wooden kind of pot. It's almost like a thimble. I found that at a craft store. Now what I did was I painted it kind of this terracotta color, filled it up with white glue, added sand to it. Once that dried, then I took this Army Painter tuft and just super glued it to the top to give it that nice table plant look. We move down here to the book. I cut a little piece of wood this size, put some material on one side, wrapped it around, and glued the other side as well. I added some glue around the edges so that it wouldn't fray, also giving it a bit of that border look. And then I went ahead and painted the wood white to make it look like white pages. Over here we have some paper, a nice 120 gram weight paper that I just cut into small pieces. I put a little bit of glue on each page from a glue stick just to keep it together. Not too much, you don't want it to get wet, but just to hold the pages together. And then I super glued them to the table here. Over here we have another one of these thimbles. This time I painted it black and filled it up with pencils. The pencils are really fun to make. These are just simply toothpicks that I cut very small. I cut off the end so it wouldn't be so sharp, painted them all yellow, added a little touch of pink to the end for the eraser, a little touch of black for the graphite, and there you go, you have some pencils here. I glued one on the table, I put 4 more in here in the pot in different positions. And finally now we have this lamp, and this is just made out of wood except for the lamp piece, which is actually a small piece of a reflector from something like a bike that we cut off and then we glued together, painted it black, but left the reflector part on the bottom so it actually looks like a really cool lamp. And here you get a nice shot of the underside of that lamp, and you can see how that reflector really has a great effect. It really does look like a really cool lamp. Well, there you have it, folks. A quick look at a really fun diorama that I made with my 8-year-old son in order to support his teacher with her awesome idea of a fairy who's coming to visit the classroom this term. If you like these kind of crafting videos and you want to see more of them, please do give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel. I will continue to make more videos like this in the future. And most importantly, thank you for joining us here today at Gray Army Gaming for the future of gaming.